What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Brian Ortega flew out to North Carolina to choke out a trash talker. Earlier in the month, Paddy Pimblett went viral when he choked out a regional level fighter who was talking trash to him online. This week, Brian Ortega upped the ante when he made the trip out to North Carolina to choke out someone who was talking trash to him on Fortnite. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. In an Instagram post on Tuesday, T-City wrote, "When talking crap on Fortnite turns into a real life lesson. For all my gamers out there, remember you never know who you might be playing with. Respect to Emmy for taking it like a man. No one was harmed in the making of this video. Professionals only." He then included a clip of him pulling up on the guy and choking him out.
Problem is you guys be talking mad, you know what? So I had a homie, well, you know, my online homie, started talking mad smack. The real reason why I flew to North Carolina was because he was talking. We made a bet. I said, bro, I'll fly over there and choke you out. Here he is. I showed up to his job. Had to wait for him to finish his job. So now, I'm gonna choke you out. Well, bet's a bet, dog. Bet's a bet?
Yeah.
You gonna go to sleep?
Yes.
Hell yeah. There we go. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Now. Stay sick.
I took a nap, man.
How do you feel?
I felt weird,
Sit
man.
back down before you ball.
No, I'm good.
How do you feel?
I'm good.
Hey.
I felt weird, man.
Despite the fact that T-City choked him out, the two were all smiles as they laughed and joked together after the fact. So far, no word yet on when Ortega will be back in the octagon after his loss to Diego Lopez at UFC 306. However, fans have been hoping that he'll fight on the UFC Mexico card in March. Alex Pereira will corner Sean Strickland at UFC 312. Next weekend, when Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland throw down in the main event of UFC 312, Alex Pereira will be joining Eric Nicksick in Strickland's corner. After cornering Strickland for his UFC 297 showdown with DDP, Pereira is going to be back in action down under as Strickland looks to get the middleweight title back. During an interview with the Schmo, Eric Nicksick dropped the news. "We will have Alex Pereira in the corner, so drop the news right now. He's a good friend of Sean. He's a great training partner. Obviously, these guys have fought, but after the fight, I think it takes a man to go and learn from the guy who caught you with something. These guys trained with each other a ton. Sean went up there to help him get ready for Khalil Roundtree. And you know, I love having him and he's great energy. We just talked yesterday." Of course, Pereira and DDP have had their own fair share of beef in the past. Last year, Poatan threw out the idea of dropping back down to 185 after Du Plessis submitted Israel Adesanya. While Pereira's already booked to defend his title at UFC 313, if DDP winds up getting the win, Pereira might tease another return to middleweight. Win or lose, it sounds like based on the fact that Strickland helped Pereira train for his fight with Khalil Roundtree, the former champ will probably be back in Pereira's camp for his upcoming title defense. Dustin Poirier shuts down rumors from fake account. This week, an unverified report began circulating that indicated Dustin Poirier would be fighting for the final time on the UFC 314 card in Miami, that Bo Nickel recently said Ilia Topuria and Alexander Volkanovski would headline. Ruben Carter, whose bio cites features on both CBS News and Yahoo Sports, alleged that Max Holloway was the frontrunner to be Poirier's opponent. However, nothing had been finalized. In response, Poirier shut down the rumors by posting a meme while writing, "I'm not fighting in Miami, that's fake news, but trust me, I have something cooking you'll know soon." While there's no word yet on who Poirier might fight, he responded to a fan by guaranteeing violence. "I promise you." With Dan Hooker and Justin Gaethje booked to fight, and a fight with Max Holloway seemingly out of the question, Poirier could run things back with Charles Oliveira if Do Bronx doesn't wind up fighting for the title, or fighting Arman Tsarukyan. Shara Bullet talks about Michael Page fight. This weekend, Shara Magomedov will face off with Michael Venom Page in a fight that seems all but guaranteed to deliver fireworks on the feet. With Magomedov fresh off a double-spinning backfist KO and MVP looking to get back in the win column, the bout has been one of the most talked about fights on this weekend's card. During an interview with Shaq MMA, Shara Bullet spoke about the fight and MVP's decision to make the jump up to 185 for a one-off. I was very excited and very happy that he was the one who actually responded to the call out. I was very honored that he was the one who said yes, but now he's in my pirate's nest. He's now going to be taken over. The pirate knows who he is and he's going to be taken down. I followed his career pretty closely and I'm pretty sure that I can say with confidence that he's never seen a striker like myself before. What's going to happen is he's going to see me in front of him and he's going to realize that I'm going to be quite a puzzle for him to solve. Once he realizes how to solve it, it's going to be way too late for him. With just days to go until the fight, Shara Bullet's sitting as a slight betting favorite, while on the flip side, MVP's a slight underdog. While Michael Venom Page might not have any plans of staying at 185 after this fight, a win for Magomedov would be huge as he looks to move closer toward a title shot. Israel Adesanya sends a message to fans ahead of fight. This weekend, Israel Adesanya will look to get back in the win column after back-to-back losses to Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. With a number of up-and-coming contenders in the division like Khamzat Chimaev, Caio Borralho, and of course his opponent, Nasruddin Imavov, Izzy's looking to make a statement this weekend and prove that he's still one of the best in the world. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show on Tuesday, he spoke about this weekend's fight, shutting down his doubters and critics. "I want to compete at the highest level because I still feel like I am the best, and I'll prove that. Again, I'm quietly confident with my skills and the work I've put in for this fight. So I can't wait to just go in there and just do the work. And then people are going to be on my again. Like, oh my god, he's this, he's that, he's amazing. Because that's the game we're in. You have one loss and he should retire. He's done, he's washed. And then you go in there, smoke someone, and this is not the first time this has happened in the UFC. They've said it to me a couple of times before in the past. Oh no, he's done, he should retire. But I don't listen. I just do what I want to do. If Adesanya is able to get a win over Imavov, who's ranked 5th at 185, he could wind up running things back with the loser of next weekend's DDP Strickland fight, given that the winner is expected to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Although he hasn't had his hand raised since his 2023 win over Alex Pereira, given his reign at middleweight, the last stylebender is never far from title contention. UFC updates. Ahead of this weekend's card in Saudi Arabia, the UFC fight updates just keep on coming. First up, we have an update on Denis Buzukja's case with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. After cornering Aljamain Sterling against Movsar Evloev, Buzukja got into an altercation with a fan and was hit with a provisional suspension. This week, the Nevada State Athletic Commission decided to extend his suspension until February's meeting. Now, shifting gears and looking at some fight announcements, we have a fight between King Green and Mauricio Ruffy, added to the UFC 313 card in March. Green is fresh off a loss to Paddy Pimblett. On the flip side, Ruffy is 2-0 in the UFC since his debut last summer. Later in the month, one MMA content creator is reporting that Brandon Moreno and Steve Erceg is in the works for the UFC's Mexico City card on the 29th. However, so far, no other sources have corroborated the news. The report comes on the heels of a fight between Erceg and Asu Almabayev falling through. The two were reportedly set to fight at the Apex on March 1st, but then the fight was scrapped, with Red Fury MMA reporting on Tuesday that Almabayev isn't injured, and Erceg was the one who reportedly pulled out of the fight. We've also got reports of a fight between Diana Belbita and Dion Barboza set for April 5th in Las Vegas, with Belbita looking to snap a 2-fight losing streak and Barboza looking to bounce back from a loss to Miranda Maverick in July. Last but not least, Jim Miller is reportedly set to throw down with Chase Hooper on the UFC 314 card after Miller's UFC 309 win over Damon Jackson and Hooper's UFC 310 win over Clay Guida. Tony Ferguson versus Dillon Danis in the works? After the GFL draft earlier in the week, GFL founder Darren Owen appeared on the Ariel Helwani show to talk about a wide range of topics surrounding the new promotion. While many fans and reporters, like Luke Thomas, are skeptical of the promotion, Owen is confident that the GFL can make waves across the combat sports community. While discussing potential fights, Owen threw out the possibility of a fight between Dillon Danis and Tony Ferguson, who was recently removed from the UFC's active roster. Tony Ferguson versus Dillon Danis, that may be something that comes to fruition, so we're down to make the fights. I'm a diehard fan, I love the sport more than anything, and I've always kind of prided myself on making exciting matchups and matchups that people want to see. That's first and foremost what we're going to do, deliver the fights people want. Also, he shed light on the promotion's plans to host pay-per-view events, citing the star power of the GFL roster. Obviously, these athletes we have are proven pay-per-view draws and have a giant fan base. I'll say this, if someone really comes to the table with a deal that makes all the sense for us, that we don't need to do pay-per-view, then we won't do pay-per-view. They also kind of like the idea of pay-per-view based on the metrics, the volume of talent we have, we aren't getting so much pushback on, hey, we don't like the pay-per-view model. Owen also explained the team format of the GFL, using Kevin Lee as an example, while explaining that just because fighters have been drafted to a specific team doesn't mean that they can't train with their existing coaches and teams. He represents the New York team, so whatever performance he has is generating points for that New York team. He doesn't have to go train with Ray Longo. If he wants to, that's an option and available to him. So any of the fighters on any of these teams have an open door to go into any of the gyms where the coaches are, train, get advice, get strategy, if they want to stay with their own coaches that they've been with for years and years for sure. We're not looking to break that bond. Whether the promotion is able to make waves, only time will tell. Jiri Prochazka released new footage of him training outdoors, practicing his moves against a tree. Here's the clip. Conor McGregor and Paul Hughes go back and forth, and Khabib reacts. Earlier today, footage emerged from Will Harris, also known as Anatomy of a Fighter, of in-octagon footage between Khabib and Paul Hughes.
I'm not like this other guy, and I'm my own man. I'm not like this other guy. The media try to make us not respect, but you know I always have respect.
It wasn't long until Conor McGregor saw the clip on his timeline. Conor reacted to the clip by saying, "Too right, you're not. Hashtag liquor. Get that flag off you, you little know what you are. From up there. Lick my I'm farting in your face. Foreign hairy liquor. Yep, the real Irish these vermin." Paul Hughes saw Conor's comments and responded with, "Conor, always said you were the GOAT, paid homage at every opportunity, but coming at my Irish identity just shows where your head is at." Khabib then saw the back and forth between the two and went off on Conor McGregor. He took to Instagram story and wrote, "You are a real Irishman, Paul Hughes, and not a addict like this." A lot of people in the MMA community weren't too happy with Conor's comments, saying, if his brilliant fight wasn't enough to get Ireland behind him, Paul Hughes' interaction with Conor McGregor today will help to no end. Disgraceful stuff from McGregor. The people of Derry had to fight for the very right to call themselves Irish. Terrible take. Conor McGregor went from the pride of Ireland to the embarrassment of Ireland. Khabib was right all along. Conor McGregor insinuating that Paul Hughes is not Irish because he's from Derry has to be one of the wildest things I've ever seen an Irishman do. Read a history book and get your nose out of the snow. Will this feud between the two fighters ever end? I doubt it. But what are your thoughts on this whole situation?